Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the first boating video of 2024. So we've had our Sea Ray now for just over a year. And this is our first trip out. It's like the beginning of the second week in June. And we're at Lock 42, also called the Couchiching Lock, up on the Trent Severn Waterway. Just here for a short trip. We came in here yesterday afternoon, we stayed overnight, and today we're going to head up to Lock 43. We're going to spend a couple of nights up there, then head home. Because we've got another big trip coming up in the near future. We're heading down to South Carolina for a family wedding, and I'll definitely be filming some of the highlights of that trip along the way. So I thought, because now we've had our Sea Ray 370 Sundancer for 1 year, I would sort of review all the things that we've done with it over the last year. We have made some changes and taken some things off that weren't working. And I guess the first thing that we've changed is we've now put our name on the boat. The boat is called Sequel because we just got back into boating after 5 years last year, and so this is the sequel to boating. So there's a few other things that I'm going to show you, and I'll be referring back to the video I did last year off and on so you can see the changes. This boat originally came with a great big Raytheon open array radar that was broken. The engine was, or the motor was burned out, so we removed it. That was quite a job, and I just replaced it with a little anchor light for when we're anchoring. We don't really need a radar. We're just not that kind of boaters, so it wasn't working. It was just a great big assembly that wasn't needed, so we took it off. So I'm going to step on the boat now, and I'm going to go over some things that we've changed on board. So when we picked up the boat last year, it had a Raymarine GPS, which I've now replaced with this Garmin unit. Let me just pop it on. The Raymarine unit was working fine, but it was the chip on it was unable to be updated anymore, so you couldn't get updated charts for that unit, and it had some funky things that didn't work properly in it. So I picked up this Garmin unit and installed it. It is more of a unit that you would find probably for fishing guys. I don't know. It does the job for us. It has all the charts, and I've got it all up and running, and I installed it myself. So that was a change that we made to the boat. Let's head down to the cabin and show you what we've done down here. Starting with the galley, all these boats all come with this kind of 3-burner stove setup that we never use. So what I did is I built, in my workshop at home, I built this little panel out of pine and just cut it to size, rounded the corners so it would fit in that space properly, like so. And so far we've just been using this cutting board on top, and it just increases our workspace in the galley. Tidied up that TV. I just built a mount for it to sit on. It was just sort of hanging out of the wall. It was a really kind of a weird setup how it was in there, but I just built a new mount for it, and it's a lot neater and tidier now. When I first got this boat, I was thinking about installing an inverter so we could have AC power without running the generator all the time, but upon further consideration, that was getting to be a very expensive project. It would have meant like major battery change, and also just the expense of getting something like that done properly. It just wasn't looking good. So because we're not doing you know, anchoring out type boating anymore, I just bought this little Bluetti power station, popular with campers and stuff like that. It's got 2 AC outputs, it's got 3 USB outputs. It it's charged up with AC power, or you can plug it into a car cigarette lighter style charger, and all of the charging technology is inside. So it just comes with a wire that you plug in. You can also charge it with solar as well if you have solar. But it's worked fine. If you just want to watch a little bit of TV in the evening without having to run a generator to do that, or just charging your phones, iPads. We've got rechargeable flashlights on the boat. Any of that kind of stuff, it does a great job of charging it up, and it does it quite quickly. The recharge time is very good. When we run the generator, when we're tied up at a lock, for example, it'll charge this thing up. You know, if you're running the generator for an hour, it'll give you more than enough juice back into this to make it useful for the next day. So that worked out well. Up in the forward stateroom, the only change we've made up there is I just removed the TV that was there before and just put a picture over the hole to cover that space up. So that's what we've done on the inside of the boat. It's made it the way we want it, and it's working well for us. Well, good morning. So day 2 of our little trip, and just stepping off the boat onto the dock. And we're up at Lock 43, Swift Rapids. Big lock. I think it's like a 43-foot drop down. And it's also called the Wilderness Lock because there's no direct road access to this lock. On the other side of the lock over there is an Aurelia water, light and power generating station, and there's just like a rough road coming in here from Coldwater so the guys can get in to work on it. You can see their trucks over there. So pretty quiet up here. I was talking to Stuart, I think he's the lock master here, and he said it's been very, very quiet this season so far compared to last year. But this is definitely one of our favorite spots, if not our favorite spot on the system. It's kind of quiet, and as you can see, it's quite scenic. Looking out over the water, it's like having your own little private cottage sometimes when there's no one else here. And at this moment in time, we are the only boat on the upper side of the lock. at the moment. I'm sure there'll be some boats coming in the evening because it's Friday, and they'll have some population coming through. But right now, it's just us, and last night it was just us and a trawler that was headed up to Lake Superior, and they are going to circumnavigate Lake Superior, a couple from Winnipeg. They keep their boat in Ontario and they live in Winnipeg, so they were heading up towards Georgian Bay today. So we're all set up a little bit later. I brought some wood with me this year, and we're gonna have a little campfire tonight. So there's happens to be a nice little fire pit right adjacent to Sequel. And I've got my little pack of wood there. We've got our picnic table all set up for the evening, and I checked with Stuart, the lock guy, and he said, no problem, enjoy your fire. There's no restrictions of fire because we've had lots of rain. Speaking of rain, I'm going to add probably some stills and some phone held video. We had a storm go through here last night. It was unbelievable. We were getting tornado watches on our phones as we were coming in here for later in the day, and man, about 8 o'clock last night, a storm came through here. The boat was bouncing around. It actually tore one of the cable ties right off of our little flag here, and Sequel was bouncing around on its lines. We were kind of just watching it to see how it was going, and it was a wild storm. Lasted for about a half an hour, then it calmed down, leaving us with today, which is just absolutely beautiful. It's like just over 20 degrees. The clouds are slowly going away. I think it's going to be a beautiful remainder of our stay, and we're definitely going to have a little campfire tonight, I'm sure. So that's today's update. Hope you're enjoying the video so far. So we just got a big group of sea-doos in the loch right now. A gang. It's a long way down. So they're only opening one door for these guys. Oh, there goes the other door. Fancy meeting you here.
Hey, sweetie. Let's see how far we get before we get taken away by deer flies.
Yeah.
Regular flies.
Yeah, we're predicting that. Yes, we're doing the super experienced boaters. Here we are off on a trip with no bug spray. So this little road that we're on right now actually is the access road for the water, light and power guys to come in to look after that generating station that's adjacent to Swift Rapids. So certainly couldn't drive a car down here, I don't think. It's pretty rough, and but it is kind of pretty. down in through here. Lots of these guys out here. I think I got him, Les.
Good. Mind if I join you?
I'm happy for you to join me.
Yeah, looks like this fire needs some of my work. Oh, you used the other pieces, that's good.
So the little getaway is complete. We have our fire. First time we've ever done this on the boat, right, Les?
Yeah, it was worth dragging that whole big tote around and moving it.
Yeah, it was kind of heavy.
Hoping and praying it would work, especially after the tornado watch. But it's going.
It's going great. Well, good morning. Last day of our trip. We just left Lock 43, Swift Rapids, and we're heading back to home port now. I just wanted to show another thing that we've added to our boating gear over the winter, and it's this comm set that I'm wearing. These are Sina comm sets, and Leslie and I found last year that it was just hard for us to hear what each other was saying when we were docking or going through a lock, and these have been a bit of a game changer from that perspective. So really pleased that we got them. They work great, and we can just talk to each other while we're boating. Well, I guess that wraps up our first trip away on the boat. You got to see some of the changes we made to the boat, and had a wild night up at Lock 43 with the storm. I'm going to get some, you've seen some pictures of that, and we just had a great time. We were away for just 3 days, a night at Lock 42 and 2 nights at Lock 43, then back home again. So that's going to wrap up another video on the boat. Hope you enjoyed it. I'd like to see your comments down below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.